everybody, welcome back. This is week 4 of February for our relationships. And today we are going to be talking about deserving and confidence. I'm Laura Ashley Abraham.
And I'm Connie Smack.
Or Connie Smack, or Connie Connie Smack.
I know. Seriously.
And we are the Michigan Medium Angels. So, okay. So, go ahead, Tink.
Somebody actually called me Connie Schmuck. So.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That's so funny. No, we won't.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I'll tell you that. No.
We will have none of that.
So last time we did get a lot of responses back. I know about the relationship issues. People were asking questions, and thank you so much for your comments. Thank you also for reaching out to us and letting us know how these videos have been helping you. Our intention is to try to give you some information throughout the month to help you kind of stay on track. And each month we're going to be talking about different topics. Again, this one is about relationships since Valentine's Day is in February. And we covered a few different topics in the last few videos. So we were talking about past lives. We talked about soulmates, divine compliments, and twin flames in the first video. In the second video, we had talked about healthy relationships, what that looks like. Last time we talked about a lot on exes and what is a good relationship, what isn't, chemistry. We talked a lot about that. And this one, we're going to talk about deserving and how to pull in a relationship, or also how to identify what is a good relationship for you. And if there is a relationship that isn't, or that doesn't feel like it's quite right, what is the issue, kind of figuring that out too. And where does that stem from? Is that something that you can work on within the relationship? Is that something you can talk about? And a lot of times when there is an issue, it's something that you have to look within you to figure out first. So with being deserving, and for me, I've always had a really hard time understanding like the word. I understand the concept of deserving, but I have a hard time recognizing in my own self if I feel that way. So I know that can be like, because a lot of times we're like, well, I feel like I'm open, or I feel like I would be ready for something. But if a relationship isn't coming forward for you, there could be a block to deserving, and it may be a little bit more difficult for you to identify it. For some reason, they're saying to maybe ask some of your friends if they feel like you're open to bringing forward a relationship, if they feel like you're ready, or if they feel, somebody that you trust, obviously, that you could ask these questions of, maybe a couple friends, and say, what do you think that is holding a relationship back, or what do you see in my relationships that are maybe a pattern or being repeated, and being honest about it. If it's something that you're really wanting to change and really look at, I feel like that would be a really good thing to try and ask people. I know that people have told me, and I'm like, no, I'm good. That's funny, it went right to my throat.
Yeah. Someone's not speaking their truth.
I know what that's all about. So I'm working on that. But I feel like for me, it's always a process of me working on my heart and opening up my heart center. And again, being open to receive. A lot of times we say that we want to be in a relationship, but then our heart shuts down. So that's a big part of it, being deserving and getting yourself into a place where you do feel worthy. You feel that you are ready, open, receptive to this person coming into your life, or for a good person to be in your life. And do you feel that you're in a place where you would be able to give equally to another person? So you're always looking for that balance also. And then having confidence too, having confidence in yourself. You don't have to be perfect, and I'm going to wait till I lose weight, or I know I do that. I'm going to wait till I lose weight, or
You are not just saying this right now. Oh my gosh. I'm calling you out on this one. I'm sorry, but yeah. Okay. You know how many guys and gals out there, if you only knew how many conversations we've had about this, when I'm like, let's just go out. You know, you're not going to meet somebody, you know, in your house, and no, my guy's going to come to me when I'm ready.
He is. He is.
Okay.
He is.
I get it. I totally get it. And then also afterwards comes the, well, I want to, you know, get in shape first, and I want to do this first, and I want to do that first. And if you wait for everything to line up, honey, you're missing the boats out there. They're like, woo, there we go. Oh, there goes another one. Oh, there goes another one. Oh, there goes another one. I'm just saying.
Yes.
The right person, you're going to feel that chemistry. Remember we talked about chemistry? You're going to know. But I get it. I understand. But your confidence, it lies within how you feel about yourself. Correct. Being at the weight where you're comfortable. And I get that too. I do understand that. So there's a fine line with that. There is. So it's, you have to feel comfortable in order to be confident. But I'll tell you, my Aunt Sherry is she is freaking amazing with this. And I think we've talked about her before. Mm-hmm. She's always said it's all about attitude. She's the only person who I know where it didn't matter how much weight she gained. It didn't matter if she cut her hair really short. It didn't matter anything. When she walked into a room, she owned it. She would literally lose like 10, 20 pounds just by going like this and like demanding it to be like on her. She is a Leo. Okay. So there is an aspect of course, Leo likes to be the center of attention and likes the spotlight and whatnot. Although I do have an ascendant, my ascendant is Leo as well. So I can relate to that. I can. Yeah, I know things are making sense, aren't they? Yeah.
They are. I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Okay, all making sense.
The light bulb just went off in your head. Yeah, so I do understand, and I kind of feel the same. But I also feel like if you get out and see what happens, you never know. You know, when you meet that person, like your soulmate, to me, you look in their eyes and you know. Mm-hmm. You know that that person is your person. Mm-hmm. And they even talk about a lot, and I do feel this, even with like twin flame, divine complement, soulmate, whatever you want to call them, all the above. It's sometimes they may not be who you think is who you would normally go for, but there's still that connection. Mm-hmm. There's still that bond. So I guess, I do agree with you. I feel the same way about it. I know exactly how you feel. And at the same time, if we look at it from a higher perspective and see it from a place of, you know, if you're meant to be the other, you're meant to be the other, and you're going to feel it and know it. And that person's going to love you for how you are right there at that moment. I mean, because you're beautiful, honey. I mean, I get it. I understand, because I would do the same. So I'm not, what's the word? Judging you for that aspect of it, but it is keeping an open mind and not waiting for everything to be perfect. I think that's the key, not waiting for everything to be perfect. But she always, again, Aunt Sherry, it's all about the attitude, but you have to feel that confidence inside. And I actually read a book years ago, and it was this girl, she basically talked about how she wasn't the prettiest, she didn't have the best body, but she always got guys because of her confidence. It didn't matter. Like, she was really kind of plain, if you will. So I wish I could remember the book. It was years ago. But she didn't really put on a lot of makeup on. She didn't really, I don't even think she wore makeup actually, but she was just herself. And she literally had so much confidence that energy, everything's energy. Everything's energy. We know that, right? Mm-hmm. So that energy that she was putting out there was just attracting guys. And she kind of like interviewed the guy, and the guy even said, I normally would not go for her, like, quote unquote type, but the way she carried herself and her confidence is way more attractive than what the physical I would normally go for. So that to me always stuck. It's easier said than done, right? So how do you do that? How do you gain the confidence to be able to have that attitude, to be able to walk out there and may the best Connie show up, or the best Laura show up. Here we go. The party's on. Now the party starts. And she would actually say that. My aunt would say that. Now the party can start because Sherry has arrived. Maybe it's things like that that you say. And it's in the mirror. You know what? May the best, ooh, whatever, like, I love you. Mwah. May the best Connie show up today, or the best whatever be today. And start getting that energy and being in that energy and really start to feel it. You may not feel it at first, but maybe eventually as you go, you may start to feel it. Or, I don't know. What do you think? Let's talk about this. It's a good topic. It's a great topic.
It is. I didn't know this was going to end up being centered around me, but that was really
I didn't either, but it's great. Pressure's off of me.
I know, right? But that's what this is about. Well, and us sharing our personal experiences too of things that are going on in our lives, things that we're going through. For me, I do want to say I don't feel like I'm missing something. I don't feel like I'm lonely. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm starting to get myself ready to start to date. So I haven't felt this. There are moments I feel that way that, I'd really like to be with somebody, but I have really wanted to take the time to get me in a good place, for me to be centered, for me to be grounded. And I feel like I have really done that for a while. It's been a while, I think, but it's been intentional. I don't feel that I've held myself back from going out there and that I've been ready to go, but I haven't done it. I feel like this has been part of the process for me that has been actually really good. And so what I'll tell people too, when you get out of a relationship, you need to have time to get yourself to a good place, because you don't want to bring in another relationship that repeats the same lessons. So if you were in a relationship, and now you're single and you're looking to find a partner, and you want to make sure that you're working through all that other stuff that you learned from that person, you learned from that relationship, so that you're ready. And that's what I feel like I've really done. And it's so funny because part of this is when you were talking about you're not going to meet anybody at home. Well, it's really funny because I literally set the intention that my person's going to come to me. I know that they are. I'm not comfortable with online dating. It just doesn't work for me. So I'm more comfortable in person. But anyways, 2 different people had come to me and said, hey, we know somebody that we'd like to set you up with. So I know when I'm ready, that energy, that I'll put that out there and I'll magnetize my person or somebody that will come forward that is good for me at the time. Whether this is the first person that I'm going to be with, whether it's, somebody that will help me get to the next person, to get to my person, it's you recognizing, okay, where am I? What is it that I really want? And so for me, I don't have an issue with confidence. I actually have more of an issue with pulling in somebody that's going to match me, that's going to be good for me. I tend to sometimes whatever, it doesn't matter. So for me, I know that when I'm ready, that person's going to come forward. So I don't feel like I'm in a place where I'm kind of holding myself back. I feel like I'm in a place where I'm really getting to that place where I'm ready to pull somebody in. So how do you do that? Energetically, think about the person that you want to be with. Think about what it feels like to be with that person. And you can also call in, they just said to, writing down the qualities of the person, and we've talked about this in the other videos, feeling the energy of what it feels like to be with them. And that will magnetize that person to you. And the other thing they said too is calling in goddess energy when you go out. If you go out with your friends, that has worked every single time. And it's really fun to see too, just calling goddess energy, help me to feel, and God energy, whatever that is for the men too. Not just for females, because I know we have a lot of guys and girls that watch the videos too. So what it is that you're looking for, and calling in that energy so that you can feel your most attractive self, and that will come out in your energy. I mean, and that, I hands down, that has worked every time I've done it. I've been like a magnet, and it's really fun. So go ahead, Tink. What are your tips?
First of all, let's just say, folks, she's in denial.
No, I'm not.
I do think that you are ready, but I'll tell you, I was in denial. I kept telling Nancy, I am so ready. I am ready. She's like, really? Because you have closed off. And so I had to say that I'm open to love, to get my heart opening. And again, when you say that, when you throw that out there, I'm open to love. And though for those who haven't seen the other videos, it's very simple. It's just, I'm putting it out there, and I said it over 300 times a day, holding a guy who was perfect for me at that time, but then fizzled out. And again, here's where confidence comes in. I normally would have thought, well, should I have done something differently, or why is this kind of fizzling out? Instead, I trusted it. I trusted in the universe it was going to be him or someone better. And then that's when I started saying, I'm open to love that person or someone better and the greatest love of my life. And then, then my boyfriend starts calling me all the time. So he wasn't my boyfriend at the time, he is now. So by putting it out there too, it's about putting out there that you're ready. And then what happens is the universe will get your heart ready and get the other person ready too. So it does a lot when you're throwing that out there. And about the goddesses, yes, that is so true. So the ones who I call upon is Aphrodite and Freya, and the goddess Freya, and then the Venus, because that's the planet of love and beauty. Archangel Jophiel, because she is the one to beautify your thoughts and for beautification. And also Archangel Hanael. Are you writing all these down?
I am, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm like, well, she's taking a lot of notes over there. I'm like,
I know. I usually just call in the goddess energy. So I guess I'm calling them all in, because that was the one night where I was like, yeah. Sorry, that's another video.
That is
go down that road.
She didn't channel goddess energy. Her lines got crossed, and she channeled a male biker. Okay, that's who she channeled. A drunk male biker, and we'll talk about that another one. That will be for another episode.
Yeah. But did we have fun? Did we have fun? And was it memorable?
We had amazing. Yeah, we had an amazing time. That was a lot of fun. Archangel Hanael, because she's the one goddess of the moon, right? And then I also like to call in Jupiter, not only because it's my planet, but it's the one for good luck and expansion. It's got chills everywhere. So if you ever want to work with Jupiter can actually help you to be able to, if you want to expand business, if you want to expand money, whatever it is you want to focus on in expansion and luck. Jupiter. Anyway, what were we going to say, honey? Were you going to say something?
Yes, actually, that was fantastic, because that's what we're going to talk about next month. Because next month is March, and it's St. Patrick's Day, which is luck. And we hadn't even discussed what we were going to talk about next month, but we can discuss expansion and luck next. Somebody wants to talk about that, apparently, right?
Yeah.
Right, throat chakra. You're gonna have to talk, Tink, because apparently
I got this. One of the things I'd like to bring up too is when people are in relationships, we get this a lot, and it's, if only the other person would change, if only the other person would do A, B, and C. Well, that's good. There are different ways to adapt. People can obviously adapt for different things, but if you drastically change who that other person is, or you're waiting for them to change, it's more about how you react to things, is one thing, I think. And two, because you can only control how you react or whatever you do. But if you're feeling something, you're feeling something. So you want to be able to express it. So communication is also key, to be able to express it in a way that's healthy and not build it up like what I would normally do. I just let stuff kind of build, and then, one thing that may seem minor to someone else, it just ends up blowing up. But I think, and communicate, it's funny because I just had a client. She was saying, if only my partner would do this, And I said, well, did you tell him that? And she said, well, no, he should just know. Like, well, no, they don't just know. You have to be able to communicate and tell them exactly what it is that you want or what you need. Because otherwise you're leaving it up to someone to do that work for you, or just assume that that other person knows, but then you get more resentful because they're not doing what you want them to do, and yet you're not communicating. Or I get a lot too, it doesn't matter, they just don't listen. It goes in one ear and out the other. That's another thing that I hear a lot. And usually it takes something more significant in terms of obviously a deeper conversation, because that's something deeper then, because the needs aren't being met, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And actually, I went to go grab this because when you were talking about that, it's one of the 4 agreements from Don Miguel Ruiz. It's
yeah, I like those. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one of them, well, there's 4 of them. Be impeccable with your word is the first one. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best. And that's in line with don't make assumptions. Mm-hmm. You know, we think that people will know what we need. We think it's so obvious. And it seems like women have a tendency to do that more than men do, from what I've noticed. And we're like, well, they should know, or even in, not even just like in a romantic relationship, but also in other relationships in our lives too, we'll think, well, this person should know this about me, and we'll take things personally. And it's really important, I feel, to recognize when you feel that, is that accurate? Is that the truth of this situation? Is that really what's going on when you feel something? Or is that bringing out something within you that needs to be healed? Because if you are getting triggered by something, there is something within you that needs to be healed. And I know that's a really hard concept. And I know it challenges us every single time there is something that comes forward, but it's always, we're being triggered because it's time for us to heal something, or it's time for us to look at something. So if there's a relationship where you are feeling like, well, that person should know that about me, and that really hurt my feelings, but should they have? And that was something a client had said to me too, you know, the other person needs to take accountability of their actions, and we need to take accountability of our actions too, where we could have said something that was hurtful to somebody else. So absolutely, there's a lot of inner work, and there's a lot of self-reflection, but there's also a lot of communication that needs to occur in a relationship. You know, if again, we've talked about this, if somebody's willing to change, or they're not even change, but if they're willing to look at their behavior and say, I'm sorry, you know, that I did this, or I'm sorry that I hurt you, that wasn't my intention, you know, really try to talk about it. Try to talk through how you're feeling, and come from a place of a little bit of detachment, so that you can really hear what they're saying, and you're not taking things personally, and you don't have that reactive response. Because I know a lot of times, you know, we'll get so upset about something, and, you know, it's like you can't feel anything else. You can't even hear the other person because you're so upset. So it's important just to take a minute just to breathe. Okay, what's really going on here? Why do I feel the way that I feel? And did this person mean it? Was it intentional? Were they trying to hurt me? Or was this just a misunderstanding? And is this something that we can really work through? I know we kind of digressed a little bit, but again, with the deserving and being confident, it's important for you to feel, if your person was to show up today, that person that you're like so excited about and you can't wait to go do these things with, and you opened your front door right now today, and that person is there, what do? Are you ready? You jump on that person? Are you ready? I mean, really? Or do you feel like, ooh, I'm not sure, I'm not in the right clothes, or I don't know about my hair, or, you know, I'm not so sure about my body, and, you know, do you shut the door? So, you know, take a minute to really think about that too, if you are looking for a relationship, and doing the inner work that you need to do, but putting that confidence out. So when you are at the gym and you are at the grocery store, that you are ready and open and receptive to meeting somebody, because you don't know where it's going to be. And Tinkerbell, I'm telling you, he's going to come to me. So just saying.
I know he will. You are a fabulous manifester. So I have zero doubt in my mind that he is going to come to you. Maybe it's just I want you to get out and have some fun with me.
I know, that's true.
So maybe there's
we did have fun last night. Yes.
We did. Real quickly, I want to talk about as far as confidence too. It does kind of pour over into that, which we did digress a little bit. But the whole thing about being in a relationship is being confident to be able to speak your truth in a loving way, because that's really, and not run off of fear. Because if you're not saying something, there's fear. There's an element of fear there, whether you're afraid of what's going to happen if you do say something, what reaction you're going to get. But again, if you don't, then you're still, there's a block. You want to clear those blocks and dissolve them.
That was really good. Wow. That was really, really good. Honestly, if you don't say something, you're running off of fear. I liked that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it all pertains and really goes down to confidence. How confident are you to be able to speak your truth in a loving way? Now, obviously, if you're constantly nagging about something, then you need to look at what is going on inside of that. But if it's something here and there where you're just sharing, something or expressing how you feel or what you want, that to me is a different story. That is really good. That's a healthy, because we're talking about healthy relationships. If you want a healthy relationship, you need to be able to share and to be able to say, again, what you're feeling or what you need. Otherwise, it really becomes imbalanced. And that's when it can turn to an unhealthy relationship. And it really boils down to, again, it's about communication. And how effectively can you communicate with each other? And that's something to look at. Maybe I feel like there's going to be a lot of ahas here going on. But yeah, let's just take a look at, maybe just take a quick little survey, life review of the areas in your life where you're afraid to speak your truth or you're afraid to say something. Because these energies are not supporting fear-based relationships, fear-based jobs, fear-based anything. So it's forcing you to speak your truth, and you want to practice it so it's in a loving way. It's coming from a place of love. And I actually have an example, but we'll share that for the last one because this just happened today. And I am so proud of myself, and we'll have to share that in a way for the next one. So yeah, I think we should probably about wrap up here, darling. What do you think?
Yeah, I was just realizing that we do have one more this month, because I was like, oh, I thought this was our last week, but we do have one more. Okay.
Woo-hoo! See there? Awesome.
Yes. And I know when you were talking about that, that was great what you just said. That was perfect. I did want to say that we did have somebody who manifested. This is interesting. Somebody did the money tree. We had talked about this in one of our other videos. And literally they manifested like a significant amount of money. And I don't want to give any details, but because of the confidentiality, but they did manifest a significant amount of money that they needed. And they did it the 1 week. And then the next week they didn't do the money tree exercise and they didn't manifest anything. So just saying.
I had the same, had the same thing. I had a client. It was a very significant amount of money too that she manifested. So yeah, I totally get it. But it's being consistent. And what happens is I do the same thing. Sometimes I just, let's go to my throat now. There's somebody is trying to come through. Sometimes we just get caught up in routine and we forget how easy it is to take 10 seconds to pull $20,000 off your money tree so it can grow back and have an unlimited supply, right? So easy. Just have to do it. You just have to do it. Just be like Nike and just do it.
And with that, we'll leave you with that. That was great.
I think so. Yeah, all right.
Sign us out.
All right, everybody have a magical day and night filled with peace, love, and light. Until next time.